next most important city then was Ephesus, where Heraclitus came from. So he was in the position of strength in Ionia, had shifted from Ionia to Ephesus. And so he could have been king. I mean, apparently he was a member of the royal family. And turned down the kingship because he thought everybody was too stupid for him to be king. Unlike the Pythagoreans, who were all this close-knit group, I mean, Heraclitus was just nobody, right? I mean, he was all by himself. Thought nobody else could figure out what he was doing. Now, one thing I want to emphasize more than David did was the connection between Heraclitus and Apollo and Delphi. That Heraclitus wanted to present himself as a successor to, or in the tradition of, the Oracle of Delphi. And people would go to the Oracle of Delphi and ask you the question. We'll see this when we get to Socrates. This is what happened to a friend of Socrates. Ask her the question. And the priestess, who more recent reports probably was down there sniffing some kind of natural gas that came up, would give these answers. People would think they knew what it meant. It didn't mean what they thought it meant quite frequently. And this is what happens to Socrates. His friend comes back and said, the priestess said this, and Socrates says, what the hell does that mean? Well, most people thought they knew what it meant. It meant something different than they thought it did. But it used to give these little short, ambiguous replies. And what Heraclitus was doing was saying, I'm like that. I don't know whether he was the successor to it or blah, blah, blah. But he never says that it's him saying these things. It's always the Logos speaking through him. He says it's just like he was the priestess at the Oracle of Delphi. The world is talking through him somehow. And what he says is hard to understand. Right? It's ambiguous, it's full of problems of interpretation and so forth. And so in that way he wants, unlike these other guys who claim to be wise, he's wise because he's like the Oracle of Delphi. Human beings, on the other hand, are stupid. And this universe is rational. It's like a language. It's just like we may not understand what somebody says. We may know perfectly good well what they say. It's not as though we had trouble hearing and couldn't tell us, right? Nick says something, and he said this. What does that mean? And what Heraclitus wants to do is say, that's the way the world is. The world speaks to us as if it were speaking language, and we can't understand it. Or we think we understand it, and we're wrong. We make mistakes about what we're supposed to know. And that's why mere knowledge isn't good enough. All these other guys, Pythagoras and so forth, knew all kinds of stuff. They didn't understand what it meant, what the point of it was, what the world was trying to tell us. Somehow he did, even though the Logos speaking through him. Okay. Now, we talked about change. I mean, change, Heraclitus thinks that change is always ongoing. He thinks it alters identities. He thinks behind all the diversity of things in the world, there's unity. And it's not just unity of stuff. He tries to look at all kinds of opposite things. Look, we think we're different, there's unity here. Somehow there's. And for Heraclitus, the whole world is connected. Not obviously so, but behind all the different appearances, everything falls together in one system, which, as David pointed out, ultimately is God. All the connections between everything. Notice what the Pythagoreans thought a good state would be like. If you want to go back and look at that last section, right? It's where the whole community gets along, and the better elements are in charge of the worse elements. And the worse elements agree, okay, it's right for you to rule me because you know more than I, or whatever the argument is, right? And the community gets along. And this is desired. What Heraclitus is doing says, no, it's not. There can be something like harmony, but it's only if everything disagrees or is in opposition. A political order is not in good standing, it's just simply because everybody agrees, you can all be idiots, right? And we get along just fine. But it's because I say this and you say that, we don't come to blows, we have vigorous disagreements, somehow the thing is worked out. And so Heraclitus wanted to insist the whole universe is like that. That we human beings think that getting along is a good thing, but it's really not. It's disagreeing, or conflict, war, depending on what it is. But the whole organization of the universe depends on opposition, conflict, rather than on harmony. And now, it'll all work together. If you really say, yeah, I'll go along, Heraclitus would say, that doesn't quite take it right. So he wants to change our minds about all of this kind of stuff. I don't know what point, I don't know whether Anders is going to say this or not. I don't remember what point in the book I talk about this. But for many people in the contemporary modern ecological tradition, Heraclitus is their patron saint. Simply because he believes that everything is connected together in one overall large system. And if you go screwing around here, you're going to screw around somewhere else or whatever it is. And it is very, in that respect, Heraclitus really does. I mean, his reasons for saying this are nothing like modern environmental movement whatsoever. I mean, they're totally different. But I mean, it's the same general outlook. All of us are connected to everything else in some sort of way. And what affects that is going to affect this. Okay. Anderson, pick up the story at this point.